Hi, it's Doug from DTA Designs Inc. In this video, we will be talking about the fire restrictions function within our fire department theme software. You are currently looking at the home page after signing into the website. From the menu bar, click on the administration option. Your home page and administration page might look a little different as it is customized for your fire department. Also, not all options might have been turned on for your fire department. Click on the Fire Status button on the administration page. From the Fire Status home page, click on the Fire Restrictions button. If you didn't purchase the optional burn permit call-in system from DTA Designs Inc., you would receive the following screen. If you purchased the optional burn permit call-in system from DTA Designs Inc., you would receive this screen. The only difference between the two is the ability to restrict registration of burns. These times are only used by the burn permit call-in system, whether it is a voice call or a text message. For the duration of this video, we will be using a system which has the optional burn permit call-in feature. Before we add a fire restriction, let's quickly look at the fire risk details page by clicking on the Fire Risk Details button. This page is almost 100% matched to the general public fire risk details page. The reason it is almost 100% match is because in the firefighter section of the website, we receive a pop-up message informing us of the difference. As stated in the pop-up message, the blue box labeled only available in firefighter section and all the buttons in the box would not be available to the general public. We currently don't see any fire restrictions, just the fire status set at low. We will now hear part of a call to the burn permit call-in system before any fire restrictions are in place.
Welcome to the demo for the Automated Burn Permit System by DTA Designs Inc. Today's fire status is set at low. Please enter your burn permit number followed by the pound key.
I have set the fire status to very high. Let's add a fire restriction now. Enter the fire restriction in the text box. Click on the Add Fire Restriction button. A pop-up appears informing us that the fire restriction was successfully added. Notice that we now have a Remove Restriction button now that we have successfully added a restriction. Let's check the Fire Risk Details page now by clicking on the Fire Risk Details button. As we can see, the fire restriction we just added is displayed above the fire status rating. We will now hear part of a call to the burn permit call-in system with the fire restriction in place.
Welcome to the demo for the Automated Burn Permit System by DTA Designs Inc. Today's fire status is set at very high. Please listen carefully to the fire restrictions currently in place. No bush pile burning, only campfires are allowed at this time. Please enter your burn permit number followed by the pound key.
There are two ways to remove a fire restriction. One way is to click on the Remove Restriction button on the fire restriction page. Let's go ahead and click on the Remove Restriction button. We get a pop-up informing us that the restriction has been removed successfully. Let's verify that the restriction has been removed by clicking on the Fire Risk Details button. As we can see, there is no fire restriction in place. Let's add a fire restriction by clicking on the Fire Restriction button from the Fire Risk Details page. With the help of Video Magic, I have sped up the timeline. As we can see, the fire restriction is in place. Click on the Fire Status Update button so we can see the second way to remove a fire restriction. Select Extreme from the drop-down list and click on the Update Fire Status button. Notice the last line in the pop-up informing us that the fire restriction was removed. Setting the fire status to anything else but Extreme will keep your fire restriction in place. Once again, let's click on the Fire Risk Details to verify that the fire restriction has been removed. As we can see, there is no fire restriction in place. Now, if we tried to add a fire restriction with the fire status set at Extreme, we would receive the following pop-up message. For the remainder of this video, we will be discussing using the time restriction feature on the fire restriction page. I have reset the fire status to very high. Let's add a fire restriction with a time restriction where burning is only allowed between 7 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. The actual time in the drop-down is using the 24-hour time format. Pick 1900 for the start time and 2330 for the end time from the drop-downs. If we use the same time format as in the drop-down in the message, we would receive an input error message as shown. The fire restriction message needs the 12-hour time format including AM or PM. As stated in the pop-up message, this is required so the burn permit call-in system can say the time restriction to the caller in a format that they clearly understand. We will correct the time to the format as stated. Now this time when we click on the Add Fire Restriction button, we receive the confirmation pop-up message. Notice that a Remove Time Restriction checkbox appears. We will discuss this a little later in the video. Let's quickly check the fire risk details. We will now hear part of a call to the burn permit call-in system with the fire and time restrictions in place. Please note the time of the call is 10 a.m.
Welcome to the demo for the Automated Burn Permit System by DTA Designs Inc. Today's fire status is set at very high. There is a partial burn ban in effect. Burning is only allowed between 7 o'clock p.m. and 11:30 p.m. You can only register the end of your burn. Please enter your burn permit number followed by the pound key.
Let's hear the same call to the burn permit call-in system with the fire and time restrictions still in place. However, the time of the call is 7:45 p.m.
Welcome to the demo for the Automated Burn Permit System by DTA Designs Inc. Today's fire status is set at very high. Please listen carefully to the fire restrictions currently in place. Campfires only between 7 o'clock p.m. and 11:30 p.m. Please enter your burn permit number followed by the pound key.
Let's leave a fire restriction in place but remove the time restriction. Click on the Remove Time Restriction checkbox. The start time and end time immediately are blanked out. Since we are removing the time restriction, it does not make sense what the fire restriction states, so let's update that as well. Click on the Update Restriction button. We receive the confirmation pop-up message. Let's check the fire risk details. As we can see, the fire restrictions have been updated. We will now hear part of a call to the burn permit call-in system with the fire restrictions only in place. Please note that the time of the call is 11:30 a.m.
Welcome to the demo for the Automated Burn Permit System by DTA Designs Inc. Today's fire status is set at very high. Please listen carefully to the fire restrictions currently in place. Campfires are only allowed for cooking. No bush burning allowed at this time. Please enter your burn permit number followed by the pound key.
This concludes the fire restrictions function within the fire department theme software from DTA Designs Inc. Thanks for watching.